founders who are in love with their problem and in love with the customer. Those are founders that find a way to become successful. The ones that are in love with their idea and their product fail in massive numbers. And so how do you get those founders who have this what they believe is a great idea and everybody's going to want to buy this? How do you back them up and turn it into a clinical exercise? And that's what Launch First is all about.
What's the one problem you're perfectly positioned to solve? Hard question, and one that demands more than just a single answer. AI startups today are like architects trying to build an entire city when they haven't even mastered how to build a single room. Every feature becomes another building, every idea another street, until a little AI chaos, we call them unexpected edge cases, flummox it all up, and it starts giving back not so good answers. The stuff we don't expect. Soon, these founders are stretched too thin to build anything that lasts. One problem costing money, one solution that makes their lives measurably better. This week, a conversation with Tekyz CEO David Hirschfeld, where we try to cut through the noise and actually show you something that's simple, but remember, simple's never easy to do. As David says, founders who are in love with their problem are usually in love with the customer. Those are founders that find a way to become successful. The ones that are in love with their idea and their product fail in massive numbers. Why? That's worth unpacking, especially as we start seeing what AI is going to do in 2025. Before the problem, let's jump into your FUD factor. What's your FUD factor, the one perfect problem to solve, simplify? It all comes down to something deeper than features or benefits, addressing fundamental human fears.
What is the problem that you're trying to solve? And why does it matter? From a perceived impact, you're solving this problem because people perceive this as a big problem, and because it costs a quantifiable amount that they'll save that money back, or they'll get that money back if you fix the problem for them. And those are two separate numbers, right? Perception and actual are two, and you need to know both, because perception gets them to lean forward and say, can you fix that for me? And the cost is the way that you get them to spend money with you. So you get because the higher the cost and the higher perceived impact, then that means you can get more people interested and you can charge more for your product. So who is that early adopter? What niche has the highest perceived impact and has the highest cost for the problem you're solving? And tease it out in terms of their survival. What is it about that problem that makes them scared, right? Because it all comes down to fear and discomfort. If somebody is afraid and uncomfortable, they want that discomfort to go away and they want to mitigate the fear, right? And those are always problems, right? I mean, even if you want to go on vacation, the only thing that motivates people is to try to assuage those things. Like you want to go on a vacation because it sounds exciting, because that excitement mitigates this fear of being bored and missing out. So everything is about it. I hate to say it, it's all about fear, uncertainty, and doubt. My IBM really nailed this idea early on. This idea of fear, focus on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I always thought that was just a very negative way of scaring people so you could win deals. And I started to realize it's not just that. It's the primary thing that motivates everybody to do the things that they do.
I was interviewing Richard White of Fathom, who's the AI note-taking service, and a great example.
Right, yeah.
He's a total product dev guy. So her first thing was hypothesis, and that we can take transcription. This is pre-AI, when his investors would even freak out if he said AI, because that wasn't a good thing, like 2020-ish. And so he said, we can take transcription to nothing. That was the hypothesis. And the thing I loved listening to him, he would then prove that, obviously. And now he's proving more and more, but he kept so focused and disciplined around growing, not getting too crazy, not trying to compete, with salespeople, like Gong is his big competitor who's totally sales focused and is a very unique flavor. He can do it, but kudos to Gong. If you're doing a sales specific one, there's going to be energy, psychology, aggressiveness that's going to be very different than somebody taking a note taking at a CPA service,
Right, exactly, right, yeah.
So he applied that same sort of one lean kind of focus. Now, I know it's like not the lean startup.
Yeah, well, that's the definition of lean is basically you make a hypothesis and then you come up with an experiment to prove that the hypothesis is true. And when you talk about product market fit, there's only one measure for product market fit, and that's people will pay more than what it costs you to find a customer. And you only know you have it when you've received money enough times that you know it wasn't a fluke. Founders who are in love with their problem and in love with the customer, those are founders that find a way to become successful. The ones that are in love with their idea and their product fail in massive numbers. And so how do you get those founders who have this what they believe is a great idea and everybody's going to want to buy this? How do you back them up and turn it into a clinical exercise? And that's what Launch First is all about.